Pre-Columbian Blacks, Part 1. The Guanin Spear Points of Pre-Columbian America. The Chama vase provides us with true evidence of blacks in pre-Columbian America. When Columbus came to America, he met many blacks. One of his famous stories about the pre-Columbian blacks was a story about the African merchants he met who sold spear points made of guanin up and down the coast of Mexico. There are many Spanish chroniclers who mention these Spanish evidence of black merchants. One of the important ones was Bartolomé Las Casas. Bartolomé Las Casas was a Spanish Jesuit priest. What he did was he wrote about how many Indians were tortured and the civilizations in America when the Spanish came. One of his most important books is when he talks about Guanin. Las Casas wrote, Columbus thought to investigate the report of the Indians of Hispaniola, who said that there had come to Hispaniola from the south and southeast a black people who have the tops of their spears made of a metal they call guanin, of which he had sent samples to the sovereigns to have them assayed, when it was found that 32 parts, 18 were gold, 6 silver, and 8 of copper. This is a very interesting story because of the fact that there's evidence from Mayan artifacts that seem to show this metal, this guanin, that many Africans sold as spear points. An interesting artifact that proves the writing of Las Casas is the Chama vase. This artifact has an African Native American being greeted by a Mayan dignitary. This personage wears a jaguar skin over his shoulder and carries a spear. The spear point carried by this man was probably made of guanin. It is definitely orange in color. The tip of the spear point on the Chama vase was probably not copper, even though copper was frequently used by pre-Columbian blacks to make tools and other artifacts. The spear point was probably guanin. Blacks usually sold this metal to American Indians, as noted by Las Casas. The Spanish mention of blacks coming to Hispaniola with spear points made of guanin is quite interesting, because here we see on the Chama vase this evidence, this guanin point, this spear. This is a very important passage by Las Casas, because this passage makes it clear that 1, Indians traded with black people, and 2, these black people had spear points made of gold, copper, and silver, and finally these people call this metal guanin. The Chama vase is very important in support of this story recorded by Las Casas, and it's very important because when you look at this Chama vase, we see in that picture above this black trader or merchant, and this merchant in a sense is being greeted by a Mayan dignitary. In front of this person, we find the jaguar and the ahu sound. The jaguar in Mayan is called balam. So we can read these signs in Maya, and it becomes balam or jaguar lord. Balam or jaguar lord was painted black, as was the Mayan tradition, and representing elites and ceremonies, while the feet represent the natural dark color of the jaguar lord. You can clearly see that this was an African, a black man. Balam lord has a reddish orange yellowish spear point, which would have been the color of a spear made from copper and gold. This vase supports the Indian tradition that blacks introduced and manufactured the spear points of the black man on this vase. This vase proves that blacks carried reddish orange, yellowish spear points on the tip of their spears, which would have resembled the spear point depicted on this vase. This is further proof of the pre-Columbian presence of blacks in the Americas.